So I'm going to try and get myself to be excited about the Dallas Cowboys season for 2022. And I'm going to have the help of the Landry Hat to assist me in trying to be optimistic for 2022. So I'm going to be reacting to an article that was sent to me to try and provide some positive feedback, but I'm going to also react to it and kind of give my take on how I feel about these reasons to be excited. Now, before I get any further in this video, if you please could do me a favor and like the video. It doesn't take too long to do whatsoever, and it's greatly appreciated as it helps the video do better in the algorithm. Next, if you could, please subscribe to this channel. It doesn't take long to do whatsoever as well. And if you're part of that 55% that are not subscribed and keep coming back, just subscribe, man. It doesn't take long to do. And yeah, with that being said, let's get into this. Number 5, the running game. Last season, this Cowboys running game came out on fire and ran all over any team that tried to stop them. But something changed halfway through the season. It's likely the injuries that both Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard suffered. Regardless, that running game fell apart pretty fast, and Kellen Moore didn't have an answer to fix it. The fact that this first preseason game was focused on establishing their running early and continuing to go for it is a promising step. Each backup running back was given a chance to shine in the first preseason game behind this rebuilt offensive line. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, cool. Whatever. So, here's the thing, right? And Terrence Watson, who wrote this article. The thing is that I don't have a problem with you having a running game. My problem is you cannot force a running game to happen. It has to be efficient. It has to be able to work. Right? The Dallas Cowboys, the reason why they were one of the most electric offenses in football last season to start off, and the reason why Dak was playing so well, and the reason the whole team was doing well was because the team was playing as a cohesive unit. And that running game, when you have 2 top 10 rushers, that's awesome to have, right? And that is exactly why the Cowboys were doing so well, is because they were running the football efficiently and they weren't forcing it, right? However, the problem was that the offensive line started playing like shit. Then the running backs started getting hurt. But still, even with the running backs hurt, there were ways that you could not get into this turtle shell that Kellen Moore got into. You see what I mean? And that is exactly what really irked me throughout this season in the running game department. Don't force the run. I just need you to be able to run efficiently. That does not mean you go against the analytics, you don't pass, you don't do anything like that, because that is taking a step back as a team. I'm going to just be completely honest with you. I have no problem with running the ball, but you have to do it efficiently. Moving on. Surprise is at wideout. Depth at wideout. For Cowboys fans, the sky was falling when the team traded their top receiver, Amari Cooper, to the Cleveland Browns for pennies. The Cowboys' new number 2 receiver, Michael Gallup, is recovering from an ACL injury, and their top free agent receiver, James Washington, is out with a broken foot. But after seeing how these receivers have practiced and worked in the preseason, there is reason to feel encouraged about their progress and passing game going forward. While the backup quarterback play isn't great, the receivers did a nice job of getting open and making plays when really given, not really real given chance. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I firmly believe that this wide receiving core is not as good as last year's. However, if CeeDee Lamb takes a massive step forward, that can help you. The biggest reason that we're looking at the Cowboys and we're saying to ourselves, I don't know what's going on here, is because they purposefully downgraded their receiving core. And, you know, I understand injuries happen, but they haven't done anything to build upon this. I understand they're trying to give the young guys a try, but, like, that doesn't really help, right? Like, that doesn't really help you, especially if, like, these guys aren't showing up and showing out, which some of them are, but again, like, some are not really looking impressive, some are looking okay, and you can't bank on these young guys all the time. There are veteran receivers out there that you can go get, and, you know, once Washington comes back, once Gallup comes back, maybe we'll be in a better situation, but still, it's like, what the hell? So there's that. I don't need to go over, whatever. Next, the run defense. When your defense holds a team to just 39 yards on 22 carries, that's a pretty good stat line, especially when stopping the run has been the Achilles heel for the Cowboys over the last couple of years. Led by Neville Gallimore, who seemed to get into the backfield whenever he wanted, the Cowboys have rebuilt this defensive front by adding size instead of speed, which we saw from the last regime. It's only one preseason game, but it's a positive sign that the change in philosophy around their selections of defensive tackles is working. That is true. The defensive front seemingly changed its fun-loving nature and transformed into a meaner and more aggressive front that should worry any offense that they are facing. This group could turn out to be one of the biggest strengths of the team in the long run. Now, I do agree here. I think that the run defense is something to be very excited for because I feel like they are going down a better route of getting big-bodied guys rather than guys that are fast and agile, which is something that I really didn't like with the Garrett era of things, or rather Rod Marinelli's doings. But I really like what the Cowboys are doing here. I do believe that they have more talent that is developing at the defensive tackle spot. And I think that it's really going to gamble on the growth of some of these guys to really say, you know what, the Dallas Cowboys are just A-okay. But if they don't improve, that's going to be a massive problem for you. And they do have a logjam at defensive tackle. We'll see who makes the roster, but that's definitely one reason why I'm a little bit excited. Tight end depth. No matter how you feel about Dalton Schultz and the Cowboys franchise tag on him, this front office has been working to add depth at the tight end position. That depth started to show promise with both Jake Ferguson and Peyton Hendershot making plays in both the blocking game and passing game. It's been a while since we've been excited for the Cowboys tight end depth, but the group that they now have looks to have a bright future. I agree with that there. I think that the Dallas Cowboys do have a nice set of tight ends. You get pause. They do have a nice set of guys. You know, they got a good group going on there. And regardless of what happens to Dalton Schultz, I think that you have a guy in Jake Ferguson that could take that starting role if he continues to build on what he's been doing. Peyton Hendershot, really like what he's been doing. And, you know, even if you keep Dalton Schultz, you got a nice group of tight ends here, guys. And that's something that I'm excited about. Whatever. And cornerback depth. I'm not sure about that. This Cowboys secondary is pretty solid with Trevon Diggs, Anthony Brown, Jordan Lewis, and Kelvin Joseph at the top. Not Kelvin Joseph. Now we have Deron Bland and Nashawn Wright both stepping up in practice, and I'm not even going to entertain the rest of that. I know I'm not trying to be rude there, but the problem is that you have young guys that are still developing, but you have two guys you took with a third-round pick and a second-round pick, and Wright and Wright and Joseph that have not really developed further. Deron Bland steps in and he's looking really good, and he probably looks like a guy that you could move into that starting lineup. The other two guys don't really impress me, and they haven't looked impressive whatsoever. Sure, they had a nice play here or there, but I'm not really that big on what's been going on, except for Deron Bland. The Cowboys do have a nice cornerback room. I'm not trying to sit here and say that it's garbage, but if you are trying to move on from an Anthony Brown because of age, you need to have a guy step up in a Nashawn Wright, in a Kelvin Joseph. Deron Bland, maybe, but I feel like he's more of a slot guy to me. So I'm not really super big on the depth here, but it's really just more so how your young guys develop, which I've been talking about a shitload on this channel. But that's the top 5 things that I should be excited for. So I get some of them that I'm a bit excited about, but this still doesn't change the metric of how I'm feeling about the team in 2022. I still think this team has a lot to prove to me. And it really is going to come down to this offensive line. If this offensive line plays well, I think the Cowboys will be just fine. So there's that. And I think that wraps up this video, guys. So if you have not done so already, and first off, thank you for reaching the end of this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys later. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Goodbye.